For more, let's go to Santiago de Chile. Mariana Romero is senior researcher at the Center for the Study of State and Society. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24.
Hi, how are you?
Just your reaction to that report we just saw, because on the whole world really is watching what's going on in Latin America and, of course, what's going on in the United States on this issue.
Well, I think, and my experience is by being there as part of this process in Argentina, is that we achieved a lot last year. I mean, social decriminalization, people talking about abortion, families discussing the issue over dinner, politicians needed to address the issue during these presidential elections. That means that as the women's movement and as a social movement, the pro-choice movement has achieved a lot. Of course, the law has, we do have difficulties in terms of implementation, and that's why we are asking or requesting to change the law. But I think based on the results of the last year process, I think as a society, we have shown that we are mature enough to bring the issue on the stand.
Mariana Romero, this year's bill is slightly different. Talk us through that, please.
Okay, the first change is that we want to emphasize the health indication, meaning that we want to talk about comprehensive health in terms of physical, emotional, and social health. And that is something that is very well stated in the new bill. The other thing is that we didn't go back to an upper limit for any of the indications that are already in the law. So in terms of rape and risk to health or risk to life, that means that a woman can request it up to any gestational age. When we are talking about legalization, and that is just for the woman's request, we go up to 14 weeks. And we think that that is a good period for a woman to realize and to go through the decision-making process in terms of what to do with that unplanned or undesired pregnancy. And finally, this new bill has not only limits to provide the services, but also what are the responsibilities of a health team if they are not complying with the law. And I think that is very important in terms of accountability of this new policy.
Yeah, there'd be prosecution if ever there's a health problem for the woman. So actually, this bill is stronger than the one
Yes.
of 2018. What are the chances, though, in the Senate where it failed last year?
Well, we do have presidential elections this year, and that is a challenge, but also an opportunity, because this is the first time abortion is going to be part of the agenda. Politicians used to just disregard the issue, and they will not be able to avoid it. The chances to be approved, we will have to see what happens in these next months, but also how the legislative election that it will come along with the presidential election brings a new context to both chambers in terms of allies and people also, that will not vote in favor of the law. I'm hopeful politicians, I don't think they will be able to be deaf in terms of listening to what society is telling them to do.
Now, another reason the whole world is watching is because, well, the world has its first pope from Argentina, and Francis last year denounced abortion as the white glove equivalent of a Nazi-era eugenics program and urged families to, quote, accept the children that God gives them. How much does his opinion matter in this debate?
Well, it does matter. I'm not naive about that. On the other hand, um, we are talking about a country that has separated church from government. We have several examples, as France, that were able to pass an abortion bill, even when the president was Catholic. So I do acknowledge the pressure of the Catholic Church, but at the same time, a lot of our arguments is that you can keep your private beliefs and that's fine, but a public policy is a different thing. And as the state, if you have a policy, you have to comply with it, even when at a personal level you don't agree. And that is an effort that we will have to make. And that is the argument that we have, supported in all this debate. And also in cases like the one you mentioned, girls being raped, getting pregnant, and facing a pregnancy that is not only a risk to their emotional health, but also to their physical health.
Now, you're speaking to us from Chile, which in 2017 legalized abortion. We've seen a few, how should I put it, baby steps in the direction of more clemency in Central America. How do you explain which way things are going between where you are and what's happening right now in the United States?
Well, the world and the global environment towards abortion, I would say, it's a very dynamic. What's happening in the States right now, it's a very, it poses a very dangerous scenario for a lot of the Latin American countries. I'm in Chile at this moment because I'm working with some groups here trying to strengthen what the health services are doing in terms of, implementing the law. This is a very restrictive law. Of course, it is better than having abortion banned at all, like they used to have. But it doesn't mean that women are accessing all the services that they need. And so, the states maybe, the good opportunity that we are having with the states is that we are exchanging experiences. Latin America is coming from a very restrictive context, is fighting in different fronts, the legal front, the policy front, trying to broaden abortion rights for women, and the States is going backwards. And maybe this is a good opportunity for groups, for physicians, for researchers to exploit this opportunity of exchanging experiences, arguments, and become more like a global movement and not only a very specific context movement that we have faced in the past.
Dr. Mariana Romero, many thanks for speaking with us here on France 24.
Thank you so much.